Can you tell us a little bit about the work that Action for Children does locally, does nationally?
Okay, I certainly can. Action for Children's vision is that every child and young person in the UK has a safe and happy childhood and the foundations that they need to thrive. We do this by working closely with children and their families from before they were born until their early 20s. So we have quite a wide range of young people and families that we're working with. So nationally, we split our work into three main areas. When we talk about, firstly, the best start in life. So we know how important the early years are, and we're here to help. From parenting advice to education and early intervention services, we focus on improving children's life chances. And we do that through the work on a number of children's centres that we have throughout the country. And we also offer a number of parenting coaches that families have the opportunity to access. We also recognise about good mental health. We understand that everyone has their ups and downs in life, and our mental and emotional wellbeing experts work with our families in schools to make sure that children and parents feel able to cope with the challenges that arise. So we have, for example, we've got parent talk sites that parents can access for advice and support. And we have a number of projects that offer support to young people through our school partnerships in terms of their emotional and mental health wellbeing. And the third area of work that we have is based on a safe and loving home. So we make sure that more children feel part of a family that cares for them, and we find homes for children without any, and protect children who have been abused or neglected, and help to ensure that young carers don't miss out on their childhood as well. So we've got a number of young carers projects, and we also have fostering and adoption services throughout the country. I think also nationally as well, it's important to say, Caroline, that we campaign for change with the families that we're working for. We produce a number of pieces of research, and alongside other charity, vulnerable and voluntary sectors, we hope to influence the policy in terms of working with children and families to make their childhoods and lives better for them.
It's an incredibly broad range of activities.
It is, yeah.
And very specialised, but still responding to children's needs, just as Action for Children did when it started as the National Children's Home 150 years ago. I'm particularly glad to hear that you're involved in campaigning, asking the question, why is it like this? As well as asking the question, what can we do to make it better?
Yeah, I think they're two very important areas that we have to focus on in our work.
Absolutely. I know that you're involved in quite a specialist project fairly locally, and I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yes, sure. So I work for Northwest Fostering. So we're based in Salford, and we recruit and assess people to become foster carers from all over the Greater Manchester area. So we place young people who are looked after by the local authority with our foster carers. So the young people that we are working with don't live with their parents, and there's usually a number of reasons for that. They've suffered a childhood disruption. They've experienced an abuse or neglect or a trauma, which has led them to having to be removed from their caregivers and placed with foster carers. So usually the young people that we work with are between the ages of 8 to 14, and we work in partnership with a number of local authorities who require placements for young people. Now, local authorities themselves do provide fostering services, but they reach out to voluntary and charity sector providers to help them achieve that as well. So in doing that, we aim to provide a safe, stable homes for children where a young person can feel safe. That's the most important thing. They can feel listened to. They can form trusting relationships with the adults and the caregivers around them, and that they're welcomed into a foster carer's home and made to feel part of that family, both with the foster carers and with their extended family as well. So it's very important that we have the support of foster carers' extended family when we're doing our work as well. Excuse me, we work with foster carers to meet the needs of the young person who's placed with them, and that includes their health needs, their emotional well-being, their education, their identity and their cultural needs. So it's quite a broad range of things that we're asking a foster carer to do. So they're very unique people that we work with in opening their homes and offering a place for a child who they don't know to live with them and who has significant trauma history. So we support, in my project, I have some social workers and I have a young persons worker and some administrators. And we support social workers to look after young people. So we provide them with regular advice. We see them on a regular basis to provide supervision for them, and we provide them with an extensive training program to give them the skills that enable them to safely look after the young people that we're working with. So we're always recruiting for foster carers all year round. And at the minute, we have a campaign underway sort of out there asking people to think if they could be a foster carer for Action for Children.
I was really struck by something you said just at the beginning of that the most important thing of all for a child is just to feel safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Very much.
And it's really painful to think of children not feeling safe in their own homes.
Mm-hmm.
So it is brilliant to hear that Action for Children has the foster care programme so that you can offer that gift of safety to children who are at risk.
Yeah.
But I know that over recent weeks and months, a lot more children have felt insecure and anxious because of COVID-19, because there's been so much information coming at us, and we don't necessarily know what to do for the best or how to stay safe. I was wondering what impact COVID-19 has had on your work.
I mean, it's been an extremely difficult time for everybody and very unprecedented times for us all. And that includes our foster carers and the young people that we care for as well. We know that children and young people's routines have been significantly disrupted, as has everybody's, and it's been a very frightening time for young people in particular. So we've had to quickly adapt and change our way of working, and we were able to do that really quickly as an organisation. As you talked about before, we had the infrastructure to allow us to do that and the support of the organisation to allow us to do that as well. So like everybody, we've turned to the online world and the use of Teams and Zoom to keep in contact with our carers and with our young people, because we obviously had to agree to the government guidelines to reduce the number of visits that we were doing. But we've kept in touch with foster carers because it's really important for us to do that, because we want to keep our young people safe and we have to keep touching down base with our foster carers. So we increased the support networks that we offer to our foster carers. We would normally have support group meetings for them every other month. So in our project, we increased that to monthly, giving them a greater opportunity to come together as a group. We were able to transfer the training program that we had to online. So we're able to continue to deliver our training. We started doing more wellbeing calls to our foster carers and to our young people. We set up some virtual cuppas so we could all have a cup of tea and a cake and a bit of a natter to see how we were all doing. And we also set up a new website on Action for Children, which give foster carers and parents as well, and our adoptive parents, lots of information about how to support young people during lockdown, give them a lot of educational resources, because obviously, as we appreciate, all our children stopped going to school. And we give them support about how to look after their own mental health, but also a young person's mental health too, as well. So we wanted to be able to give foster carers some additional tools during this time, and also give them the opportunity to be connected to us. My young persons worker also increased her direct work to the young people that she does. So she engages with them through online, and she does that more frequently now. And again, she's focusing on promoting their well-being and monitoring the impact that coronavirus has had on our young people and offering support to them when needed. So she's very much there as a listening ear. And I think the other thing that we've done sort of as a sort of wider organisation is that at the start of the coronavirus, the pandemic, we set up a COVID-19 emergency fund. We quickly realised lots of families that we were working with, this was impacting on them both their health-wise, emotionally, but also financially as well. And we've seen a huge amount of families slip into poverty. So we were able to set up a COVID-19 fund that we could provide financial assistance to families. And these really were about providing the basics. You know, this wasn't any luxuries. This was about food, toiletries, things for babies, you know, sort of equipment, gas and electricity. This was really everyday things that people needed to live and survive during this time.
Mm. It is scary how quickly people can slip from just managing to just not managing. And much of what you've said has echoed what our experience has been in the church as well, from moving as much as we can to online, to supporting and caring for one another through online conversations and phone calls and WhatsApp groups and so many other things. And we've also seen the way in which our projects, our food banks, our baby basket project has found extra need during this time, because, as you say, people are struggling. So that leads me on to the question. One of the ways in which the Methodist Church has traditionally supported Action for Children has been through holding collections and fundraising activities. But I know there's a lot more to it than that. What difference does the link with the Methodist Church make to Action for Children, in your opinion?
I think it makes a huge difference, Caroline. As many of you, you all know, and as you said earlier, Action for Children celebrated its 150th birthday last year. So it's 150 years ago that the Methodist minister, Thomas Stevenson, helped two boys off the streets of London, and he offered those boys a home and showed them kindness. He provided safety and security, and he gave them hope for the future. And that's really key. We're still doing that today. We're offering safety and security and giving hope to the future for our children and young people that we work with. So over 150 years later, our links are as strong as ever and still very much needed from all the things that we've just discussed before. I think the Methodist Church has really backed our Choose Childhood campaign. We launched that you helped us launch that at your conference last year, and that highlights the challenges faced by vulnerable children and families today. So before COVID-19, there were 4 million children living in poverty. And, you know, again, as we've just talked about, the impact of COVID-19 will increase that number significantly. And we're going to see that as we start to come out of lockdown and children start to go back to school and start to engage with services again. You know, so we're working with our colleagues in education and social services, and we anticipate that there will be an increased need for the services that we deliver, especially those key services such as children's mental health and well-being. I mean, at your conference, your members were encouraged to write to their local MPs concerning the plight of the children in the UK, and that strength your voice gives to our campaign is absolutely incredible, and it helps to influence policy change and therefore the work that we do. And as you said, you know, you continue to help us raise funds for the valuable work that we do. Methodist donations account for 60% of the income in the Northwest. Therefore, it's really, really important. And for the children that I work with, and particularly in foster care, we want them to have the same opportunities and the same life experiences as other young people. And the additional funds that we get through the partnership and the working that we have with you allows us to do that. And more recently, we received a letter from the president and the vice president of the Methodist Conference, just, you know, giving their support to Action for Children at this time, and passing on the best wishes to the staff and volunteers who work for Action for Children, which is greatly appreciated. It really is. You know, we do our work because we're passionate about it and we love it. But actually, for someone to tell us that we're doing a really good job and give us the encouragement to continue it is really, really satisfying. It really is. And just last year, we helped over more than 387,000 children and families in the UK. You know, we know that that's going to increase in the coming months and years. So it's vitally important we continue to do the work that we're doing.
Thank you. And it is wonderful and a blessing for us to think that we can be part of supporting 387,000 children and families, us, the Methodist Church. But it's also good to think that we can be part of challenging our MPs and our leaders to ask why there is, in 2020, there are still 387,000 children who need that help. So thank you so much for joining us this evening, Adrienne, and please alongside the greetings and the best wishes and thanks of the President and Vice President, please also take our greetings and best wishes and prayers to the project that you lead. It's been a delight to have you with us this evening.
Yeah,
and
I most certainly will. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to join you this evening. It's been a real pleasure. It really has. I thank you very much.